The war had ended. The sound of battle had faded across the lands of South Africa. But for the Zulu, the struggle did not end with silence. It evolved. The battlefield was no longer defined by weapons alone. It moved into daily life, into systems, into policies that reshaped how people lived, worked, and survived. This is the story of a resistance that continued long after the war was over. Following the decline of large-scale military resistance, new forms of control emerged. In South Africa, administrative systems expanded into everyday life. Local governance structures were reorganized. Traditional authority systems faced new limitations. Communities that once operated with relative autonomy now found themselves adapting to structured oversight. Land usage began to shift. Movement became more regulated. Economic activity was increasingly monitored. These changes did not happen overnight. But gradually, they reshaped the rhythm of daily life. The war had ended, but control had not. Among the most significant changes was the introduction of taxation systems. These systems required individuals to participate in a structured monetary economy. Taxes were not simply financial obligations. They represented a shift in how societies interacted with authority. For many, this meant finding new ways to earn money. Work patterns began to change. Labor systems evolved. Economic participation was no longer optional. It became necessary. This transformation connected communities to a broader economic structure. But it also introduced new pressures that would shape the next phase of resistance. For the Zulu, these changes had a profound impact. Daily life was affected in multiple ways. Economic demands increased. Traditional systems of exchange were challenged. Communities had to adapt quickly. For some, this meant seeking work in new environments. For others, it meant navigating unfamiliar economic systems. The balance between tradition and change became more difficult to maintain. Social structures began to shift, and with that shift came tension. Not always visible, but deeply felt. It was within this environment that resistance began to take a new form. In 1906, resistance emerged in a more direct form. This moment became known as the Bambatha Rebellion. It was not simply a reaction. It was a response to accumulated pressure. Economic changes, administrative control, social transformation, all contributed to the conditions that led to this uprising. The rebellion reflected a broader struggle, a struggle to respond to rapid and far-reaching changes. It was a defining moment, one that would leave a lasting mark on history. The rebellion, like many resistance movements of its time, faced significant challenges. The balance of power made sustained resistance difficult. But the impact of the Bambatha Rebellion did not end with its conclusion. It influenced future perspectives on resistance. It shaped how communities understood their experiences, and it became part of a larger historical narrative. The aftermath was not just about what happened next. It was about what remained, memory, identity, and the lessons carried forward. Today, the story of the Bambatha Rebellion is remembered as a turning point in the history of South Africa. It represents more than resistance. It represents adaptation, resilience, and the ability of communities to navigate change. The Zulu did not stop resisting when the war ended. They adapted, they responded, they endured, because sometimes, the most powerful struggles are not fought on battlefields, but in the systems that shape everyday life.